Right, so we start with the broadsheets this morning, and it is that time of the week really where all the focus in the Irish press anyway is on the All-Ireland hurling final. Eamon Donoghue, always good stuff from Eamon, looking at the stats, and he's got a great graphic here, the average height of the All-Ireland hurling final teams. In 2013, Clare were under 6 foot. 2014 and 2015, Kilkenny went a little bit over 6 and 14, and then 15 a little bit higher. Tip brought it down. Galway in 2017 were just under 6'1". Galway 2018 are well over 6'1", nearly 6'2". They're big men.
Oh, they're huge men. Huge men. But probably what they haven't seen this year is a team as big as them. I was only looking at the size of the Limerick team. Like, I think Gerard Hegarty is well over 6 foot. I think he could be 6'4". Tom Morrissey is 6'1", and Kyle Hayes in the centre is 6'4" as well. So that's your main ball-winning kind of from puck-outs positions to be. And you know, like I say, they haven't seen that this year. Go back to their half-back line: Diarmaid Burns, Declan Hannon, and Dan Morrissey. Like, Limerick are massive.
Yeah.
But you mentioned one man there, Johnny Glynn. The only place where they probably could do a big guy is full-back. And Mike Casey, the wonderful hurler that he is and having a great year, he's conceding, I think, you know, I think Johnny Glynn is about 6'5", and Mike Casey's about 6'1". So they could do with someone in there.
Do you switch it out? Do you change your plans all year to do something special for Johnny Glynn for the All-Ireland final, or do you just say, right, that's your job this week?
It depends on Mike Casey. Like, is he comfortable? Have they thrown in a big lad in on him in training and see how he copes with it? Because we've seen Johnny Glynn, like, he mightn't, you know, go around with 30, 40 possessions, but when he does get the ball, usually scores come off it.
Yeah.
See, and like, Parg was in college actually with Johnny Glynn. They're great old friends, and good lad Johnny Glynn. And I remember at that time he used to be saying how much he thought, the respect he had for Joe Canning at that stage. And that was probably before they were even great teammates on this Galway team.
Before you interviewed on TV as well about it.
All right, yeah, right, I missed that. So he had a great time, and you can see that, like the first score against Clare in the semi-final, quick sideline into Johnny Glynn, hand pass back over the bar.
Yeah.
And he got a score again in the second half off Johnny Glynn. So he sets up a lot of scores.
Yeah.
Just like the article there in the paper, seems he doesn't score a lot, but by God, he does set them up. And Limerick, I think they will need a plan B, that if it's not working out, maybe throw back, I don't know, Diarmaid Burns or someone on him.
But let's not forget as well, though, like, Clare aren't the biggest team, and they managed to bring Galway to a draw and then a replay that they could have won as well. And after the first game in the post-match downstairs, like, the Galway dressing room was like a small hospital. They were beaten and bruised and beaten up, and Clare weren't nearly as big as them. So obviously Clare nearly had it cracked,
yeah,
which was, you know, find a way to get around them, I suppose, for the want of a better phrase. I mean,
yeah,
you know, Galway's size I don't know if that was the difference in the end between them and Clare. It was just accuracy.
It definitely wasn't the difference in the end. Yeah. Porrick obviously has marked Johnny Glynn,
yep,
as a full-back and full-forward. What would his attitude have been, or how would he have tried to?
Obviously, Porrick is a hurler, like, you know, so he's probably going to go after the ball all the time. So, yeah, like, sometimes I suppose when you're marking Johnny Glynn, like, I marked him myself,
right,
but lucky enough I marked him out in the half-back line.
I was going to say, yeah,
which is easier, because if he wins the ball there, you know,
you've got a bit of time.
He's not a guy that soldiers around and tears in and scores a goal, even though he did that time probably give that interview, but more often than not he doesn't, he lays it off. So, but he would have caught a lot of ball. I found I struggled to win ball off him now, and if I was back again, I wouldn't try and catch ball off him.
Right.
I would just try and, you know, brush him a little bit to the side and let the ball go through. So I think as a full-back, if you're marking him, your goalie is crucial here, that he's on his toes and he's here, just let the ball through, glide that ball through to me. Like, Daithí Burke is one of the best exponents of it in the game. Like, he did it against Aaron Shanahan in the All-Ireland semi-final replay, where Tony Kelly, last puck of the game, long high ball. Shanahan loves these ones. He scored a great goal up in Croke Park, and next minute Daithí Burke, a little flick to the side, ball wide, no one noticed that, and Aaron Shanahan was here, damn, why didn't I stand a little to the side, you know? So I think marking Johnny Glynn, probably that would be a good thing to do.
Yeah, okay, we'll talk a bit more in detail about that a little bit later on. Some more of the headlines here. Cipriani's England career in doubt, fly half in court after bar incident. So Danny Cipriani's future as an England player was cast in doubt yesterday after he was charged with multiple offences in relation to an incident outside a nightclub in Jersey. It's common assault, larceny, assault on police, resisting arrest and being disorderly on licensed premises. So he had a good night, Danny Cipriani. He wasn't leaving anything out there. Galway star McInerney fit for All Ireland. Gerard McInerney, the Galway centre-back who misses county semi-final replay over Clare, reports Gary Doyle has come through Tuesday's training session unscathed. Like, you know, I'd say the leg could have been holding off him and he would have been, yeah, I'm totally fine, it's all grand. Have you ever been injured ahead of an All Ireland final and kind of had to carry that through? Or?
Yeah, I was injured for a few All Irelands. You just have to steel your head.
Do you tell anybody you're injured? Are you talking to the medical team, or are you?
It depends on your injury. So 0-3 at a hip injury. I ran into Gort and you just can't hide that. So just no training.
Yeah.
And you just have to convince him you're 100%, even though you mightn't be.
Yeah.
So when you're pucking around, you know he's watching you. So you have to hit it and pretend, smile. Yeah, this really is wonderful. And run a bit faster than you normally would. It's probably, if I was a manager now, I'd see it as a sure sign a player is injured when he's coming back, is that he's running faster than he should be, because he's trying to really impress you. Remember 2007 All Ireland against Limerick? I wasn't injured, but I didn't sleep the night before. Why, I don't know, because I never had any problems. And it was like I had the flu that day. So I just had to say to the doctor before the game, 2 paracetamols, saying nothing to Brian Cody. I'm grand, went for a sleep. And because if he knew that you were kind of feeling like that, suddenly the first few minutes don't go well for you, you're gone, probably took off.
Yeah.
So the less he know about that, the better. But my most scariest was the 2012 final, where I got injured during it. And it was kind of somewhere in the grind there somewhere. And it was grand running straight. But if I turned a certain way, I just was gone. I'd fall on the ground. And I knew this, and you know, I was selfish. You know, I was saying to myself, I'll do better than anyone that comes in. You're just trying to convince yourself that you will do that. And remember the second half, I was with Cyril Donnellan in the full back line. They were doing that roving thing that time, so I was all on my own, which was worse. So if the ball went left or right, and he turned, I could have just fell on the ground, and so that was just so scary. But it didn't happen. Lucky enough, it was all straight line running. But I'll tell you, like, that was probably just so much luck.
How did you get away with it?
Because I didn't have to turn. It happened one stage in the second half. I was in a ruck, and I turned, and I fell in the ground. And but obviously the ball was in a ruck, so nothing happened. Yeah. So I only got away with it because I didn't fall on the ground. Very selfish thing to do, but
the second half in 2012, it's kind of clear you guys are winning anyway, isn't it? Is that right? That game, or is that the draw?
No, it's the draw.
Ah, okay, right.
Yeah, it was the draw.
Jesus,
and after about 7 minutes, tried to catch a ball and pull something.
And were you grand for the replay?
I didn't train for the replay. I was grand physically, but didn't hurl great. So, but everyone is injured. Ronaldo will tell you that. Like.
Yeah, yeah. And playing through it, I think, is kind of important in these big games. Changes of heart, the big Galway decision that brought Aidan Hart into defence and 1980s legend Pete Finnerty home. So there's a Galway special in the Examiner today. Presume that they're going to go heavy on Limerick for the rest of the week as well. Pete Finnerty's telling a story about listening to matches in New York. They'd ring home, they'd put the phone up to the radio and he'd listen to Micheál Mar Hartig. There was a league final in '87 that they listened to. The bill would be massive, but there'd be 4 or 5 of them and they'd all agree to pay it. But I think it's himself and Tony Keady who end up going home that summer, and McInerney who end up going home that summer. And sure, that fullback, that half-back line is the stuff of legend in Galway hurling. Keady, Finnerty and Jerry McInerney grew up McInerney's dad. So apparently it was the fact that they were missing out convinced them to go back home that summer, and they win the All-Ireland in '87. So I do love listening to Finnerty, especially this time of the year. That Galway team, there's just something special about that Galway team.
Yeah, and sure they've done the double, and he's a character. He is a character.
Yeah.
And tough as nails.
Yeah, that team was they were hardy, that team.
They were hardy.
Referees not ignoring rules. Chief Barrett insists there's no edict to ignore fouls in order to let the game flow. So this is Willie Barrett, who insists there's no policy of ignoring fouls in hurling in a bid to build on the game's treasured reputation as a free-flowing spectacle. Do you believe this?
Well, it's like a hurling game. Like you can train all you want, and then it comes down to yourself, your instincts and that. And I think it's the same with the referees. Like, they will be told probably blow this, blow that, yellow cards for this, red cards, but it will come down to their personality at the end of the day, I think, when the crunch comes to it, and they will call it as they see it. And I think no matter what they say, is when they let the game flow, it's the most beautiful game we have.
And the referee ends up by reflection getting glory for that as well. Like, you get much bigger games over a period of time, and also the crowd don't get at you, and you know.
I always remember Brian Gavin, you know, people be saying, you know, that should be a free, and he just like that and be like, yes.
There's been a big turnover in referees in hurling over the last couple of years. So Gavin's gone, obviously. We had the high-profile retirement, and after this, is there a sense that there's a change in the guard, or does it matter? Like, I have to say, I wouldn't have paid that much attention to referees over the years.
Yeah, I think it's the pressure. It's just like they go up into rooms like this and they're being told, watch this, watch that. They're getting marked, you know, for every kind of probably foul, every free. Like, it's so fast, like it's an impossible game. I've done it at underage training sessions and stuff like that. And you know, you'd be going home, oh, why did I blow that? Why did I blow it? It's like it's an
I'd
impossible
say you never blow
game.
that. I'd say
I try not to.
to kill somebody.
But I feel like the only time they should be blown is like if there's no advantage. Like, it's such a fast game, you see, Ger, that it's only referees that really live for hurling, that maybe have played the game at some stage, that they realise that a guy dodging you, like the whole thing about David Burke in the semi-final was, should he have got, you know, maybe a red card? Would have been crazy, because when lads are moving that fast, one little slip that way and you're out of position and you hit a guy, you know, in the wrong place, and the hurls are swinging around, like, you know, and that's the nature of the game. The hurls swing around, you're trying to get the ball.
Yeah.
And if it's one mistimed tackle, you get a lad. You know, they're not red cards.
Yeah.
Red cards should be only for guys that, you know, do something on purpose.
Yeah.
So I think it's the pressure on the referees in these meetings and being graded. That's.
What do you think of the red card for the face guard? Like, it always seems like, particularly last year when it looked like Ozzie Gleeson might miss the All-Ireland final because he pulled someone's helmet off.
Yeah.
I understand that, like, the neck area is very sensitive and there's a danger there, but like, you'd want to kind of, there needs to be kind of an amber card for that. It's like, yeah, okay, you know, maybe you could have had 10 minutes in the sin bin for that, but to miss an All-Ireland final as a result of it would have been kind of ludicrous, right?
Yeah, no, I wouldn't agree with that rule at all. I'll probably get lambasted for that now, but you know, like, Barry, you go over and take a helmet off a lad.
Yeah, exactly. There should be some, and I understand why they can't. They want to stamp it out.
Yeah, like maybe if they said in a fight, if you're in a fight and you done it,
Yeah.
Red card, but not in kind of general play kind of a thing where you have the ball or a lad has the ball and your hands are going everywhere, like, you know. And
There's going everywhere and ripping onto the grill of a helmet, though. It's.
I know, but did you ever catch an electric fence? You know, you know, then you let go, like, you know, so it's not as easy. It might look easy, but it's not that easy.
The Racing Post this morning, the BHA, it's naive to think this will be the only cobalt case. So it would be naive to believe that cobalt, the potentially performance-enhancing and prohibited substance at the heart of the high-profile case involving the Basterman family, has not been more widely used in Britain, the BHA warned yesterday. So that's the drugs in racing story. The Irish News this morning, quick look at this. Tally is the man for down, says Poacher. So Stephen Poacher, who was thought to be in the running for this, might be saying that it should be Paddy Tally who gets the gig, but he might be saying this to, I don't know, it's hard to know what the politics of down football are at the moment. And then good news coming from the Tyrone camp. Myler says he'll be fit for the Dublin Showdown. We've got the Limerick leader for you here as well. Hoping for history, Limerick's brilliant young hurlers seeking a first senior All-Ireland for the county since 1973. And then let's make it 6 of the best, the Connacht Tribune. So photographs, and then the All-Ireland captains from the past, the 5 previous All-Ireland winning captains for the Galway hurlers. So we'll come back to the hurling in a little while. Do you want to take us through the tabloids?
Yeah, there's the tabloids here. Obviously, there's a lot of focus on football, and I think this is interesting that Jose is finally kicking back. This is Paul Pogba, and for the want of a better phrase, the row going on between him and Mourinho. And basically now Pogba's saying, if you want to call my agent, if you want to speak to me. So it says here, they've hit a new low after an extraordinary bust-up. And apparently the Manchester United boss warned the midfielder not to air his grievances in the media and said if he wants to quit the club again, in quotation marks, he should ask for a transfer. And Pogba replied that if Mourinho wanted to speak to him formally again, he should go through his agent.
That's a good sign.
Yeah, that's really, you know, relationships are being formed there, aren't they?
Yeah. And you were always wondering why those Kilkenny lads didn't talk to the media.
And then obviously Kevin De Bruyne as well is big in the news on a lot of the back pages today because of his knee injury, and saying that this is the Maire, and saying that that's a huge blow for City's plans, obviously.
Yeah, out for 2 months it looks like.
Yeah, at the very least, mid-November it seems to be the thing, and apparently the lateral ligaments in his right knee. So What does that mean, Tommy, if you're told that?
Yeah, well, I'm out at the moment with medial ligaments in my knee, so I was interested to read what exactly it is. I'm out about 5 weeks now at the moment, so 2 months. What's that? Another 2 or 3 weeks?
Yeah, and how long will you be?
I don't know.
No.
I don't know. It's never really happened before, so it's kind of like, do you come back now and then you're out for the season, or do you come back and just mow on, which will probably is what'll happen.
And what stage of the championship are you guys at?
The round robin.
Right.
So we play 4 round robin games first. 5. We played 1 actually back in April. That was nearly last year this day.
So the next 4 haven't started yet, have they?
Yeah, we played last weekend, and they'll go on now over the next few weeks.
And how's it going?
After we're only getting back into it now, like, so kind of a summer of doing nothing really, only, you know, tipping and tapping, and now it's great. Like, you feel alive again, like, you know, and, you know, it's amazing, like, you know, you'd be reading about these guys that are retiring from sport, how tough it is. Like, you know, all the Premier League footballers, see all the money they have, and you'd say, sure, what have they to complain about? All the money, they can do what they want. But it's like a drug, like, you know, and we've had no competitive action for so long, and you know, it's tough. It is tough. And you'd only notice it now when you're back, you just feel alive again. And you feel, you know, you can't wait for training Tuesday night, you can't wait for a train Friday night, can't wait for the match next Sunday. You know, we're playing our biggest rivals in 2 weeks, Ballycallan, you know, it's a derby, it's like the El Clasico. Yeah. And like the whole place, Ballycallan are talking about, Tullerone are talking about, and you know, the whole place comes alive. And so yeah, it's a great time of the year now to be a club hurler.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like that short period that it's all going to be rushed off in a couple of weeks. This is the first year of the club month in April, and the first year that the All Ireland has been brought forward. So a success or a failure from a club hurler's perspective?
Oh, the club is a massive failure at the moment. Like, it's terrible. It's an awful place to be. You know, you don't want to be really talking about, I suppose, too much coming up to the greatest day in the GA calendar, but they need to sort it out quick, because if they don't, like I was talking to a young lad in Tullerone the other day, under 17, like Kilkenny went on an amazing run. They're in the minor final next Sunday, so they've had 10 games, I think, in minor. Usually you might have 3 or 4 if you get to a final. Yeah. So they've had no under 17 games since, I think, was it the 1st of May or the last week in April. So you have an under 17, and remember now, they can't play junior or intermediate or senior anymore. They can only play a grade or 2 above their levels. So we have an under 17s that haven't played this summer. I thought it was just the adult guys, and the adult guys is worse again. Like, we played a match last April and have done basically nothing since. You're kind of trying to stay fit, and you don't want to be peaking back in May, you know, this kind of a thing. So even if you knew, right lads, go back training in May, you're starting championship in August, play your pre-season competitions in, say, June and July, off you go. But this, I would say, like, if we don't sort it out, and I say we as in me, the clubs, the county boards and the GA, if we don't sort it out, we will not have hurling in 10 years' time. It'll be just elite. There'll be nothing going on. So because in Kilkenny, I don't know what way it is around the rest of the country, summer soccer is coming. Right. So, like, I thought we had no soccer players in Tullerone. I think we have a few that play in town. So suddenly, say you're used to training 2 or 3 days a week, maybe a match, say twice a week, maybe a match the weekend. Suddenly you've guys playing soccer on Saturdays. And then I hear that they only play Saturdays because it was the winter and it was dark during, so they might be even playing soccer in the evenings in the summer. Yeah. So what way do you do it now? So I think, you know, you talk about complacency, we need to sort ourselves out, or because where do like, you look at Limerick, the golden run they're on now with these young lads, where did they come from? The Piercing, playing in Club All-Irelands, Kilmallock playing in Club All-Irelands. You look at Joe Canning, greatest, you know, one of the greatest hurlers of his era, couldn't win in All-Ireland until last year. Where was he getting his success? With Portumna. Yeah. You know, 3 or 4 Club All-Irelands. So I think, you know, and the GA as well is a massive, it's a massive cultural community thing at the moment. Like, we no longer have everyone going to mass Sunday morning and talking for an hour or 2. We no longer have people calling to each other's houses or meeting on the streets. Yeah. Now, you know, with your iPhones and your iPads, most people are nearly inside in their houses at night, bar the GA. You're down at your matches, the phones are gone, you're chatting, you're playing. So yeah, I think we're in big trouble with the clubs if we don't sort it out. But there's rumours going around talking to different lads that there's massive meetings going on at club level and county boards, and the GA themselves, I think, are meeting up with guys to sort out the clubs. So when I hear that, I'm delighted. Okay, so that's interesting that there are at least conversations happening about it, and people are listening to the problems that the club players have. Hopefully. Yeah.
All right.
Moving on, The Guardian has a really interesting story of a woman called Katarina Johansson Thompson. She's a heptathlete and is just going through, I suppose, the rough journey she's been on. Her dad died there last November, and she's just working away now on her Olympic journey, and just it's a great story of resilience and that kind of thing. And they're also focusing on Kevin De Bruyne's injury and Cipriani's big night out. And here we have the Herald, and they are talking, obviously we've got a big picture of Mickey Hart. They're calling him Wiley Hart, and they're talking about he needs a totally new plan, and they seem to think he might have it. And also a little bit about Celtic as well, and Brendan Rodgers, and now the pressure they're on. But I just thought the headline was interesting. Wiley Hart will need a new plan to save the championship, and Alan Brogan says this.
Yeah. Well, Alan Brogan's got he's got a dog in the fight there, so
Exactly.
you need to come up with an entirely different plan to try and beat us.
And finally, what I have here, I have the Star, and we have Citizen Payne, the headline there about the De Bruyne injury as well. And they also have a bit about the tribesmen not giving up yet about Brian Concannon and his suspension, and apparently he won't be able to play in the All-Ireland final unless, of course, they somehow find a way to appeal it.
Yeah, okay.
We have a Telegraph as well, apparently, which I don't have here in front of me, and that looks like Kevin De Bruyne as well. My eyesight is failing me. That's him on crutches, is it?
City in the war as it is, yeah, you're bang on. It's Kevin De Bruyne on crutches, so it is a bit far away. The TV is big, but it's also far away. That's and also I'm getting
my
old.
father do.
Yeah, exactly.